Housing is one of the most costly parts of everybody's life. Tiny house living and the off-grid lifestyle has given me more freedom than I ever could have thought imaginable. It gives me the opportunity to pursue things that I want to pursue and do the things that I want to do with my life. My name is Richard, this is my off-grid homestead, and let me take you on a tour. This is my 250 square foot tiny house on wheels. It was a home that I built from scratch, from pencil sketches through electrical, through framing, and did everything myself. Whenever I was designing this house, I was really designing it for me. I'm 6'2", not a typical tiny house dweller, but I wanted to make it functional for me. I didn't want a tiny little loft space that I had to climb up and down a ladder. That's why I decided on the Gooseneck trailer. I've been living in here for over 10 years now, and in that time, things have evolved pretty dramatically. I want to take you on a little tour of the kitchen, what has changed over the years. So starting out in here, I had cabinets that were from the Habitat Restore, the thrift stores, things like that, and stuff that was just like, it made sense on paper, but after living in the space for several years, realized they didn't make as much sense as I thought they did. And so a couple years ago, I ended up doing a full renovation on this kitchen. So as things stand with this kitchen, I have concrete countertops. I have a 2-burner stove. I use an apartment-sized refrigerator that has been plenty big for me. 2-basin sink that's running completely off of rainwater, and a little RO system. So cooking in this home is pretty simple, but comfortable and really everything that I need. I think a lot of people in a traditional home think that you need this huge oven and that you need these big appliances and all this kind of stuff. I use the 2-burner stove, and that covers like 95% of my cooking in here. I do have simple appliances, so Instapot pressure cooker, the air fryer, and a toaster oven. For me, that covers like basically everything that I want to do in here. Being off-grid and being more permanent, I have purchased a nice grill for the outside, especially during the summer whenever it gets hot in here and I don't want to cook inside. I will cook outside a lot just to keep the heat from, you know, filling up my house. Basically, you know, I'm not struggling out here from a amenities standpoint. Living off-grid in the desert, a lot of people don't realize it's possible to live 100% on rainwater. And I have kind of built up a system over the years between roofs and catchment and storage tanks that this will be the first year that I should be 100% on rainwater. I have, between all of my outbuilding shops, things like that, around 1,200 square feet of roof. I have about 6,000 gallons worth of storage tanks, and that is enough rain catchment for me to live very comfortably out here. I end up using about 100 gallons a week. And so some of the things that I've done to kind of use that efficiently is a couple of years ago, I upgraded to a small dishwasher, and that actually saves a ton of water. So that dishwasher, I think, uses around 2 to 3 gallons per load versus hand washing for 30-40 minutes, you're gonna be using 10-15 gallons. I think a lot of people think that you can't have a dishwasher in a tiny home. They do make small ones, and it just lives under the countertop. It's plumbed into main drain lines and works great. I love it. Typically, as far as groceries go, I am rural, but I am about 30 minutes from town. So I will go to town, get groceries, things like that, about once a week. About once a month, I will end up going to Tucson, which is about an hour and a half away, and do kind of like big stock up runs. I also built a root cellar, was one of the first things that I built. So if I do end up getting a ton of produce or a ton of stuff that needs to be frozen, I have a couple deep freezes down there that can basically kind of act as a buffer for long-term storage of food. So living in this tiny house, it doesn't mean I am struggling or don't have normal luxuries and amenities. I have a apartment-sized refrigerator that runs completely 100% on solar, just like basically all the buildings on my property. And so with that, it's very appropriate that the sponsor of this video is Bluetti. This is the Elite 100 V2 Bio-Base Bluetti Portable Power Bank. Whether you're on-grid or off-grid, I've found these portable battery banks are really a must-have. I use these in a ton of different ways all around the property. I want to take you guys through a few ways that I use this Bluetti unit all the time. But let's go into some of the specifics and why I like this unit in particular. When you're looking through Bluetti's product selection, look for the dark blue model. The dark blue model, the casing is 25% bio-based plastics, which is better for the environment and supporting the mission of green power. This unit is certified by the ISCC to help reduce greenhouse emissions and create a more sustainable product. Solar power is a great way to be greener in this world, and with Bluetti, working with bio-based materials and eco-friendly materials, the decision to go with them just got so much easier. This unit has 1800 watts of output power, which means it can run almost any small standard home appliance. So things like your air fryer, your microwave, your refrigerators. For reference, my whole household on a given day is pulling about 600 watts at a time. This unit has a capacity of over 1,000 watt hours, which to translate that would charge your phone over 50 times, charge a laptop over 12 times, or run your lights or Wi-Fi router for over 2 days. So one thing I love about this unit is it's only 25 pounds, super portable. It has a nice beefy handle, so it's easy to transport around. Throw in the truck, run water pumps, run power tools, even if I'm not near a main power source. This unit has fast charging ability too, so during your lunch break, you can hook up a solar panel to it. Works great all day long. So lastly, these units are great as an emergency backup and really something that I feel like every home should have. They will run essentials like small refrigerators, your lights, communication devices, and some medical devices in those extended power outages. If you want to check out this Bluetti unit or all of the units that Bluetti has, the links are in the description below. But now I want to show you guys my living room. So my living room is really a pretty simple setup and was a really pretty simple build out. Originally I had like these intricate sliding couches that turned into beds and things like that. I realized I never used that because honestly I don't want people sleeping in my small space on a guest bed. So over the years I replaced it with just a traditional purchased couch. I took out some of the old cabinets that were kind of bulky and kind of streamlined them into smaller things. So one of the additions that I added a couple years ago was a TV that kind of swivels from the living room to the bedroom. Everything here runs on solar, is comfortable, and for me the living room is just kind of a space to hang out and exist. It wasn't something that I needed to put a lot of time, energy, and money into building out. Getting a grid-tied system out here was not an option. I called the power company and they said it was going to be $180,000 to get a power line out here. So immediately solar was the option. I've gone through several iterations of the solar system because I built it all myself and have kind of learned through trial and error what works and what doesn't. The current system that I have right now is fantastic. I have 12,000 watts worth of panels. I have a 16,000 watt battery system and a 12,000 watt inverter. That is exponentially bigger than what I need to actually run this house, considering day-to-day normal functioning, everything running in this house, I'm pulling about 300 to 600 watts. But the reason I went with that big of a solar system is to run a electric pottery kiln. This has been a new upgrade to the home, and so now outside of running the kiln, basically I can run the mini split air conditioner like all day as long as the sun is out. I'm not worried about power in the slightest. It's been really cool to me to see just how much solar technology has changed over the years. Whenever I first moved to the property, I was paying over $1 a watt for used panels. These panels here, I ended up paying a little over $2,000 for over 10,000 watts worth of panels. As long as I'm not running the kiln, I can run basically everything on my property, mini split air conditioner, refrigerators, things like that, and it does not even phase the system. So typically most days I'm at 100% battery by about 45 minutes after the sun comes up. Whenever I was 15, I started doing graphic design, started my own business. From there, went to college, graduated with a 4.0, no debt, had a job for 1.5 years by the time I graduated, advertising, marketing, all of this kind of stuff. It was on a very traditional path, and I decided to buy a motorcycle. I had it for 3 days. Lady who's texting and driving hit me, shattered my femur, fibula, and ankle. That was the moment where I realized life is very short, life is very finite, and I didn't necessarily want to live the traditional path. I ended up getting into the tiny house movement through a clickbait article on Facebook. It was something along the lines of couple builds house for $22,000. And honestly, my first impression was, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I don't understand how anybody can live this way. But over the next couple years, that tiny house idea just started integrating into my brain. So on a whim, with no place to build, no experience building, no idea what I was doing, I contacted a company that was a trailer manufacturer and put a $14,000 deposit down on the walls and trailer. In building this home, again, came in with no building experience, no idea what I was doing, made tons and tons of mistakes on this house. I've ended up redoing my floors like 4 times. There's not a whole lot of things in this house that are original to what I built back then, because I got better at building and I got better at construction and actually living in the space, learned what I needed and what I didn't need, what I could improve, what I didn't really use very often and could get rid of, and have really just kind of like dialed it in to fit what I need on this property. So I'm a big proponent of personal finance and the FIRE movement, the Financial Independence Retire Early movement. In my mind, any debt that you owe is time of your life that you owe to somebody else. Anything that you have saved is future you that has a little bit less stress and a little more relief. I ended up here in Cochise County because the land prices were very inexpensive, the regulations were basically non-existent, and I could live in a place affordably that I enjoyed and that was comfortable in nice weather. So a lot of people think that you have to have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy land. If you get creative with it and find the right place, that's not necessarily the case. I ended up purchasing 24 acres for $23,000 and was able to do so with 0 money down and a 0% interest loan. Basically what I did was negotiated for the owner to do an owner carry on the property and paid him off over a year with a 0% interest loan. My big thing on this property build and the tiny house build and everything I do is I did not want to take on debt. I didn't want to take on a mortgage. I didn't want to do all of that. So as I acquired money, then things got built. The way I kind of saw things was most people are paying around $2,000 a month in rent. If I just take that $2,000 and funnel it into the property over years and years and years, now we've gotten to a point where I'm 100% solar, 100% rainwater. I pay $230 a year in taxes and really own my time, own my freedom to the point where I can do what I want to do and not have money being the motivator of my time. So this is my bedroom. Whenever I was building this, I wanted to do something that was a little more non-traditional at the time that I was building, and that was building on a gooseneck trailer instead of doing a loft system. The reason I did that was because I'm 6'2", I'm a big person. I did not want a tiny little bed, a tiny little loft that I felt cramped and claustrophobic in, and I wanted the big windows for good like natural airflow. For me, it was important to do stairs instead of a ladder system. Whenever I was 22, I got hit by a car, broke my leg, so that was a big influence in doing the gooseneck build. I do have a queen size bed up here, outlets, plenty comfortable, and living off grid, being 100% on solar, I have to be really mindful of my energy usage at night. So even with the big system, I can't run the air conditioner or electric heat through the night. So one thing that I've added onto this bed is a heated and cooling mattress pad. It's something that pulls like 200 to 300 watts versus 12 to 1300 watts, and has been a wonderful upgrade for this home and to make it comfortable. I'm living off grid, but I have all the comforts of a normal home. So the bathroom in this tiny house wasn't a space that I wanted to take up a ton of room in, but I did want some comforts and some kind of normal amenities. So for me, it was important to have a normal size shower. I've done the RV shower thing where you're trying to bathe like this, and that does not work for me. So do have a normal size shower. I think it's about 3 foot by 2 foot. One of the luxuries that I put in here was a second sink, and that was really nice, especially when I was doing hand washing all my dishes and stuff, because I didn't necessarily want to brush my teeth in the sink that I'm doing my dishes with, so I added that in. But for the most part, this has basically everything that a normal bathroom would have. We do not have a well on this property, and to put in a well was going to be about $50,000. What a lot of people don't realize is the Sonoran Desert is actually a very wet desert. We get about 15 inches of rain a year. The biggest thing living in the desert on rainwater is storage tanks and roof space. So here I've got two 2,500 gallon tanks. This will survive about 50 weeks. And then I also have about 1,500 gallons worth of tanks on all of my accessory buildings. Those accessory buildings, I throw a IBC tote in the back of my truck, drive over, fill those tanks up, and then drag it over here to fill the rest of the tanks. From our main tanks, our water goes into this, which is our pump house and laundry room and community shower space. And so I have a shallow well pump that goes through a 3-stage filtration system, and then ended up trenching and running lines to all of the buildings out here for our water sources. Out here, again, water is precious, so everything is gray water that can be gray water. So all of our shower, things like that go and help water the plants out here. So this building behind me is my workshop. This is really the heart of the property and something that I honestly wish I would have built basically first thing out here. So it is built with rock walls for the foundation, pallets for the walls, and then a ferro cement coating on the exterior of it. This has every tool that I could ever need to build a full house out here. Our welders for metalworking, every woodworking tool that you could want, laser cutter, 3D printer, everything works and lives in this wonderful shop. So this is one of the most unique builds on my property. This is my buried school bus. Originally, whenever I moved to this property, I started hosting through Hip Camp and Workaway and different work trade programs, and starting this property with literally nothing on it, I just needed structures here that we could be inside, that were quick and inexpensive. So ended up contacting a guy that had this bus. He wanted to get rid of it, paid him to drag it out here, dig the hole, and drop it in. This was our community space for several years, just someplace indoors for the people that I was hosting to hang out in. Now that is me on the property, I have been in the process of renovating this and converting this into a pottery studio and office. It's been such a great space because it stays more temperature controlled than a normal bus by burying it. Also, I kind of have that 12-year-old boy sort of vibe and do fun things. So it's my little underground bus fort. That was the bigger reason for burying it, but it does help that it insulates a little bit. It looks cool out here, and it's just a fun, unique, quirky, weird building. For me, the tiny house movement is all about financial freedom, independence, and owning your time and owning your life. You can actually start saving for that retirement, saving for that financial independence, saving for whatever the life is that you want to live that you're not currently living. For just over 10 years now, I've been doing graphic design, websites, logos, things like that. And now that the property is really built up, I'm able to transition again. So I ended up getting into pottery about 2.5 years ago and started selling pottery last year, still as a side gig. And the nice thing about living out here, where I'm not paying water bills, I'm not paying electric bills, I can now confidently go and pursue a new career at 34 in fine arts and pottery. It's because I had that financial freedom that I can feel confident in going into a career that is not traditionally known to make a lot of money. I encourage people to just get into the tiny house movement. Even if you don't know what you're doing, even if you're scared, that's even the more reason to do it. And you're looking for your independence over material goods, and I think the tiny house movement does that really, really well. Thank you guys for watching this tour. I hope it inspires you to take control of your own life, go tiny, whatever that looks like for you. If you want to see more of my work, feel free to check out my nonprofit business that shows years and years and years of this property being built. That is on social media at Terraform Together. I also have a pottery business, is Dirt Creature Pottery, and that is getting started up. We're starting to put out more content, and we'll have a shop available soon. And all the links will be in the description below.